be ready to jump in, and you better have your plan ready.
Right.
Because if you don't have your plan ready, you can't get in the ballgame.
Right. Right. And you did the first step. You have an inventory, and now you can make those decisions. I'm going through the same thing too. No one was in my position for almost 7 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going in, and we at the state have 17,000 acres. So I'm going to the same thing. And now we finally have some of our properties are inventory, and I can do the same thing myself. I know what we can do, and now when we have these issues come up, I can hopefully make somewhat smart decisions.
What's this for? Are we competing with you?
No, just other towns like Town of Huntington and Babylon.
But it sounds like with this the nature of the tree collection, I think it gives us something to manage. Right. It's not just managing the latest development of street trees.
Right.
It's really something that's evolved over quite a while, given the way the village is grown.
Yeah, and it helps you not be so reactionary. You can sit there and say, okay, well that tree can stay for a while. This one has to come in.
But it seems like this tree board kind of approach might be what we should look at
I think so.
and see how to structure something that gives us some structure to think about trees, which otherwise we don't really seem to have.
I have a question. You said that in addition to a tree board, that a tree ordinance would be a useful thing to have in place?
I think it depends, right? These are all things that give you more points.
Okay.
So, like, Town of Brookhaven has a tree ordinance.
Right. So if the village of Poquott had a tree ordinance, then it would give us more points in addition to a
Right.
tree board that would greatly facilitate our ability to actually be competitive when we got to the point of applying for these
Right,
grants.
exactly.
But a tree ordinance might enable a tree board,
Exactly.
so it may not be totally separate things.
Right. Right.
But it's a structure, to follow
Right.
along, and you sent me some links
Yeah, and I brought some more for you too. So.
that describe some of what has worked in other situations.
Right, exactly. It's not, I looked at Town of Brookhaven, and their law is different from the town.
So far, not very sure.
Obviously, in different purposes.
Right.
So we can be a tree city.
Right.
That should be our goal.
There you go.
Tree city.
Mm-hmm.
Brookhaven is a tree city.
Where are they, the tree village?
So
Lindenhurst is
Are you a resource that if we had questions about oak tree wilt
Yeah,
or
of
the
course.
beetles, or that we have a tree that we hear is going to come down and we're not sure that it's an unhealthy tree, we can call your office?
Sure, yeah.
And-
I cover Nassau and Suffolk County, so I'm
Sorry.
it's a very spread
There aren't many
thing,
trees there.
But you're really close.
but you're very close. Yeah,
from the
so
way
people call and they said I can't possibly go to every single property, but if it's close by and if I'm free, I could come out, of course. So that's why my info is here.
Excellent.
Well, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was the kind of discussion I wanted to at least start having, and I think we as a board need to look at these tree board kinds of local laws that we've talked about. We did have a local law for a while, just the village. Not that we didn't have a law. We had a proposal and went through a process, but I think we sort of came to a realization that we had to pull back a little bit and really start with the village trees and understand it a little bit. And this work here has helped us a lot about thinking about trees in a way that I think will be very, very useful.
Right.
So
Absolutely, because the town of Brookhaven, their ordinance is you have to pay $350 per tree. Only if you go above 2 acres, though. So it's
commercial.
Or commercial, right? So it's
But
obviously tailored to what.
But also, as you point out, there's a lot of management that could go on I mean, it's not just an issue of do you cut a tree down or
Yeah.
not. All the vines and everything else really needs.
Right.
There are a lot of choke trees that need a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Roger, so this report, yay, was paid for by a grant from the village. Is this now going to be available to everyone in the village?
So I think we have to understand how to post things on
Right.
the village websites.
Well, our village
So-
website is not very amenable to.
Right, so that's why I said we have to figure out how to get
Yeah,
the.
okay.
So there's shape files,
Yeah.
maybe here, iTree files, as well as the report, which is sort of an introduction.
Right.
It's not a lot of detail, but it gives us a good introduction. So the intent is to make it available and just to understand the whole resource. But we have to figure out how to do it.
Right.
But that's where a tree board or some expertise in the village could really help us. Yeah.
Somebody's good at using a
Does
public
the
webpage.
Arbor Day Foundation come into any of this in terms
All the
of
funding.
helping a
Yeah.
community? I mean, I know you give a donation, they send you a bunch of trees, but obviously you just don't want to go willy-nilly planting them because they could be putting them in the wrong place. And
Right.
Understory trees are not going to make it or whatever. But what's the relationship, or what could be the relationship between this and?
So all the funding it's a federal program actually. It's a line item from the USDA through Arbor Day. So that's why a lot of these programs exist. It's all money from the federal government. Well, we'll see what happens now for trees and such. And so that's where the Arbor Day comes in. So in a way, that's how we get the funding to do these programs. In that, you get points for having an Arbor Day celebration, points for all these, and then it just helps you with the grant. And then in turn, when the feds audit us, no, well that's when they audit us and say, we gave you this money, I want to see the Arbor Day, I want to see the trees planted and such. So.
What you did with it.
Is there, when you get the application for the grant, is there a list of what things give you points? Like,
Yeah,
is there
it's in
something that
the-
we could look at? To
Yeah, it's
say
in
it's
now it's all online. It's through the Grants Gateway.
Mhm.
I don't know the website, just New York Grants Gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well now it's all the state. The whole state is all grants right there. So
Okay.
not
Oh, I
just
see.
these,
So
but-
all
yeah, now it's all electronic, which I think will make it easier for people. But yeah, it's in there. Sure.
Roger, will you now be making a recommendation to the trustees that there be some kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a moratorium, but some kind of a review before trees are just arbitrarily cut down? That somebody else, or some kind of arborist or some specialist who can tell.
Every tree that's been cut down has
So-
been,
So
Not
Was
true.
an arborist, did an arborist determine that? I'm sorry.
there has,
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to hear Roger because that's who I'm addressing the question to.
Well, so this is one of the things we have to think about now that we have this fully delivered. But I think we do. I think that since we have a list of trees, that we should follow the trees and be able to document what has happened. So certainly encourage that whatever paperwork gets created when there are trees cut down, that we get copies of that the signed by the arborist saying what the problem is and the follow-up of what was found when the tree was cut down, so we can
Or
add
maybe it
this
should
to
be done
our,
before the tree is cut down.
so we can add this to our knowledge of the street trees.
Well, now that you have actually the disc in the program, you can now travel around through the village since it's pretty workable.
Right,
And
there are some challenges because the GPS fixes do not They get you close to the tree.
You know what, looking
paces.
back on it, and this is something funny I'll share with you, but I've done tree surveys, where we've gone around and nailed little aluminum plaques
Yes.
on every single tree, and you know exactly what tree it is, except the
Yeah.
tree will grow around those things over time.
Mhm.
But on the next tree inventory, depending on the nature of what the users want
Right,
as the
of
end
course.
product, it might be something that, you know, be invested in.
Right,
It
so
takes more time.
it does, it's definitely, I mean, I think we have the inventory that we need to start with, that tells us what's here.
Right.
To some extent, if we have 40 oaks next to each other, it doesn't make much difference which one is A and B, but it gives us something to work with, and we should get good enough to.
What I
to
can
make-
share with you, Roger, is something that can't go public right now because it's and again, I'm not the GIS specialist, but I have something on my computer I can share with you that will pinpoint each tree. So it'll help things a lot, but you have to pay for a, you know, server or somebody to maintain that record. So I'll share with you that.
Okay, well, those are the kinds of things that would help us
Right,
as
right.
we construct what say our budget would be for a tree farm. Is that what helps us?
Sure.
Because I asked that initially when we were talking about our deliverables to the village. It's very helpful, but if you don't have something that is already set up to maintain it, how are
Well,
you-
that's why we're
Right.
seeing this as a way to learn how to do this,
Right,
really.
right, and Kristen would be able to answer
Okay,
those
so I'll follow
questions.
up with her
Yeah,
and see what's,
absolutely.
how we
I
can
might
think
even be
about it.
able to pull it up while I'm here, but I'll see.
So, I don't know if there are more questions?
Yeah, so how do we communicate to the village board that this report needs to be looked at before trees are cut down? 'Cause I think the feeling I'm getting is that,
No, we have most of it.
is that I don't think that's happening. I think, I don't wanna walk away from this meeting and then it just continues.
Well, I think a process that's, I guess I would say more deliberate would be useful, and I guess by that I mean that that as trees are identified as potential for potential
Execution.
management. I want to use the word management. That there be some discussion, so you can see if you can find them in the list, see what this recommendation was. Doing a lot of trees right in a row, it's different looking a whole range versus studying
Doing
one
trees
or
for your friends.
different trees, but I think just better communication to try to match the interest of the management with what we now know, and I think that's where we have to start.
Can you pull?
Oh, I can make a suggestion. It'd be too late for this month's meeting because it's tomorrow. But the process should be that Roger is the chairperson to write a memo to the Board of Trustees, specifically the mayor as the chairperson, that this board has made a recommendation that, based upon this presentation, that no trees be removed until there is a process in place for determining how we want to do it objectively or something. to that effect. Basically, what you're doing is conveying the results of this meeting in a formal basis to the Board of Trustees, and then it's on the agenda. We had put, you're supposed to have a spot on that report, but that doesn't seem to happen regularly where, when we go over the agenda. So you have to decide how you want to do that, because you have to have it, you have to be on that agenda. But you can't go wrong, put it in writing. So,
Really? It's laughable.
Yeah.
Your board.
The tree inventory. DEC fund. So, anyway, we're gonna work on.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I think that's a good idea. We're gonna discuss that, and as long as we still have a quorum. So don't No. I just don't want to make people hanging around. But I think that's it. I don't know.
Right, so it's just, it's a matter of,
Okay, as received, tree inventory.
yeah, so. That would be nice. But if we could have, it's just simple stuff, right? To get more money, we need the house, we need a tree ordinance. And we can do that. We need, I was supposed to be personally been cutting down trees. I can get you. Sorry.
Didn't the cost? I don't know if I'm recording here.
Should have brought it in.
Let me just see.
It's failing.